Thanks for staying with us. So the funeral of the former Super Eagles goalkeeper, Peter Rufai, has stirred up a heated debate that goes far beyond football. At the event, some ex-international, including Taribo West and Austin Eguavon, lamented the poor welfare of retired players, stressing that Nigeria often forgets its football heroes once the applause fades. But Nigerians are divided. On one hand, many argue that our football legends put Nigeria on the world map, inspired generations, and deserve a pension-like structure such that just like that of the civil servants. On the other hand, critics insist that these players made fortunes in their prime, earning millions of foreign payments and contracts and match bonuses. So why should taxpayers now foot their bill for their retirement? Now, the conversation doesn't really end because people are just saying all sorts. Now, some are asking if footballers deserve special treatment, about teachers, what about the doctors, what about soldiers and police officers and so many others who risk their lives every day and they don't get the appropriate retirement packages. So here's the question for today. Should Nigeria create a welfare system for ex-footballers, or is this simply a call for preferential treatment? We've been seeing how in the last few weeks where the president has been honoring quite a number of footballers who have obviously made Nigeria proud with the $100,000 for the act. But many have also said that many of our stars have died in the past and government hasn't really done much. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 020-163-52013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and also YouTube. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. Let me try to read the response from NFF exactly, because I know that they also responded to they said the Nigeria Football Federation stood solidarity with two of our legends as they were laid to rest. In support of the burial rights of Christian Chukwu, the NFF provided financial assistance to his family and was represented by the executive committee member Chief Judge Aluo, Barrister Okeobi, and Mr. Chikelue Ilionyosi. Similarly, the funeral mass of Peter Rufai in Lagos, the NFF also offered financial support to his family. The delegation included executive committee member Alhaji Ganiyu Majakodumi and Dr. Ademola Olajire. We honor their service, celebrate their legacy, and extend our continued support to their families. So that's the official response from the NFF. So NFF is trying to tell us that, yes, there were members of NFF who represented them at the funeral, and they also provided financial support. But the question is, was that enough? Because, you know, this is a very interesting conversation to have, and it might be hard for some who did not experience the work of these heroes. I mean, if anybody could just take a moment to go back to 1996, that match, you know, where Kanu Nwako, for example, we can never forget that. I lost my audio.
Nigeria.
That's when he scored that goal and he went into the net. That we cannot. I think it was 1994 World Cup or African Cup.
Was it not the Olympics?
I can remember that this thing. That Olise scored a goal from the middle of the field straight into the goal.
We all have those memories. I lost my audio for a moment. So we all have those memories. I mean, the one I think was really profound was when Kanu scored that night. That I think it was the sudden death when FIFA just changed that.
It was Argentina, Nigeria.
Yes, and he scored that. We wanted to die.
Yes,
practically everybody's heart just stopped.
We came from losing.
But if you relive that moment for a second, then you understand where these people are coming from. That these were the people that united our nation. They were the people that made us proud and put Nigeria really on the map. And it would be unfair that we're even talking about their death. From that moment of his retirement to the point of death, what was done? I think that's the conversation Nigeria wants to hear. Don't tell me what you even did on the funeral day. Tell us what you did for maintaining and keeping them, celebrating them till their death. What are your thoughts on this, on the debate going online, saying that what of the police officers, the civil servants that die for us every single day? If you are worried so much about these guys that only played football and then earned
the same
foreign currency. What do you think?
It's the same. They join. All of them collaborate. You know, that day we did not even pack the. If I have start to happen, we're talking about the $100,000 athlete, footballer.
Yes.
And was criticizing the government that no, this is a one-off. This one they might not even pay because we have past sports people who have said that all the promises were not they were not, all the pledges were not fulfilled, and we're just looking at how they are promising this one again, that we will follow the money. We're asking government to institutionalize the honors, have it in a system. Why do we still have young footballers now with all the work that the Rashidi Yekinis, the Peter Rufais, the what's his name, the one that is talking Taribo West, with all the work they did? Why do we have young sports people today still towing the line of suffer before glory like they did? Why do we have our national stadium looking the way it is if we have proper institutions? Why do we not have parents like us, if it's not to carry the child to Europe, training our kids to boldly, happily represent this country, not because they didn't have a choice. There are Nigerian footballers who found their way to Europe and then they don't have a national team and they come back. There are Nigerian footballers who are locked here, who don't have visas to go. Who are, I'm the Nigerian. But do we really have the patriotic ones who, when the doors are open, say, no, I will be a Nigerian voluntarily? Do we have them in 90% among our sports people? No. It's not that encouraging. And we were shouting the other day, $100,000 that means we have money to do these things. Let's focus more. You've given them houses, you've given them national honors. Can you now use money to to revamp things? Go to the stadium. You don't want to play. When I was a child, I remember my dad could swim. He used to go there to swim. And they'll carry me there and I'll be looking. If I go to that water and I see it like this, I'll run for my life. Everything is just bad, dilapidating. And we are looking at it, we are living it that way. And then we are focusing on the one that will carry chairs and shout. I am happy for everybody that was recognized. I'm happy that they were recognized and their hard work was not wasted. But we need the system to continue. Okay. When the Taribo West and all of them fought and played their football, yes, they were locally selected guys. But subsequently, a lot of the guys have to have made international football abroad for them to be able to play. And all the politics within the NFF self, they praise anybody. The same thing we are asking for the police. So the police, other systems have been able to get, such sort of regulation around them. So we have the Nigerian Police Commission that is business is to deal with their remunerations, promotions and all of that. It's not perfect, but there's a system. It's doing as much as it can. They serve a certain number of years in public service, so they retire to something. But these footballers, if you get one small injury, end of career, no system to take care of you. There's nothing that you do between losing your ability to play active football and suffering an injury, and it's straight retirement no matter the age you belong to. What systems do they need? They themselves, they should be advocating it. And those guys at NFF, those guys are chopping large.
Okay, let's we are
going to go there. Those ones we are touching there. Those ones are not playing football, but they are the ones ending well.
Let's go back to the hot topic of
which is the question.
The question I asked.
So the question is, I'm trying to understand. The question is it that they should be given welfare throughout their lifetime up until they pass on and then be given a state burial?
So people were saying that on the funeral, government saying, I gave you something, I supported the funeral. Yes. And the question is, should they be only supporting funeral? Okay. Or shouldn't they have been there for these ex-players all through their life? That's one. Secondly, should government therefore prioritize players over civil servants? Because we have civil servants who are also complaining that nobody's taking care of us. So which should we prioritize? Or should they both be given that some kind of a package?
So for me, I think when footballers or athletes, the truth is their career is usually very short, short span. But the idea is while they are in service or while in the height of their career, most of them get to make a lot of money for themselves. And the idea is that they're able to use that to live sustainably, invest and thrive, because even they know more than anyone that time for them is quite a short time. where they have represented our country, I expect that there are times that government needs to show up for them. So at a funeral, definitely government's presence. Some of them are even awarded Order of the Niger and all sorts of, in recognition of the sacrifices or, whatever contributions that they have made to the country. But I don't know if it's sustainable for any government to give them money throughout their lifetime. And I don't think it's fair to many other Nigerians, because then, there's so many people just as deserving who do not get that. And what the government does is that we pay you your wages, and depending on which government parastatal you work at, the office is able to provide something, towards the end. Concerning pensions, if you're not a government worker, you cannot get pension from the government. So it is really about how they can live sustainably after. And I hear you, Nyma. For me, what should be more important, because a lot of our players, especially footballers, they usually come from nothing. They find themselves at the peak of their careers very young, before they even understand the world and how finances work. It would be great to see that they get some form of financial literacy. And it's not just a Nigerian problem. I remember, like in America, they talk about how black people, especially basketballers or sports people in general, the black ones especially, they make this money, a lot of money, when in the height of their careers, and a few years down the line, they are left with nothing. So you have some of their top people. I heard Jay-Z has like a school where he's teaching these young men financial literacy, how to reinvest their money, so that when it is all over, they have something that they can depend on. So that's where I can see government can help, invest in that area. And then another reason why they may be calling out for help from government is because after they are done, and they come back to Nigeria, there's no ecosystem in which they can just be a part of and contribute and grow and train people and mentor and inspire. That's all. They've won this, they have this big name, and then there's nothing else for them to do. But imagine if there are schools, if there are even Nigerian teams that are so big that they are part of it and they are playing internationally. All these leagues that we hear about, the Premier Leagues that we hear about, what is wrong with the Nigerian leagues? And they coming home and being part of that and earning money, while at it.
Okay, I have to go on a short break. When I come back, I'll take Ramatu's points, because I think you've answered the question of not being the government not being responsible for them throughout their lifetime. But now, how therefore should their funerals be? Shouldn't that be an event in itself? Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter. Ramatu was going to share her own thoughts.
So Miriam has said a lot of what I wanted to say before, but let me just add this. There are some careers in life that we know that is very, very short. And because we know that it's short-lived, especially like something like the football, the musical career, we just have to make sure that we have plan in place. Like me now as an entrepreneur, I know that I won't say I'm waiting for the government to give me pension at the end of my time, once maybe the business gets to a certain stage, or maybe when it starts retiring or something. But I should at least be able to start saving, make sure that I plan for those days, because at some point during that time, at the peak of their career, they're making lots of money, living lavish lifestyles and all of that. I know this guy in Amokachi. Amokachi's house was in Kaduna. It was one of the biggest on that road. If you see, you can't help but you notice that house. Yes, you notice the house. Very beautiful mansion, big, expensive. At some point, he couldn't maintain it. So what happens is that most times when they are at the peak of their career and making so much money, all they just think about is, let me make so much money, let me outshine, let me show myself and all of. They don't plan for the future. They don't plan for things, unforeseen circumstances like this now. But there are so many people who are in such careers, they have planned out their life. They've even planned out how their funeral is going to be, where they're going to be buried, what should be done. They have even set aside money for all of those things. There are a lot of them. But telling government now to come and pay you pension, when we have a lot of people that up till today, it's not every day we read in the papers, people are trying to collect their pension, people who are collecting small monies. Here and there, their salaries are very small.
Ramatu, I hear you. I think I hear you and Mariam. I think both of you are correct, and I think both of you have answered that question as regards we shouldn't expect pensions. But let me go to similar to what you just said. JJ Omoja was posted here on his Twitter, says that I saw the image of a news story from 1999 showing that Taribo West made about 200 million naira that year. That's at almost $2 million at the time in 1999 rates of 100 naira to the dollar. If half of that money went into mutual funds, he would have the capital and still be earning more than enough yearly to not have expectations that government should be taking care of him now. Having 193 million naira in 1999 is like having 2 billion naira today. I had to Google it myself. I don't need that story to know that even at that time, footballers who were fortunate enough to play for Nigeria were mostly earning at club level, whilst also earning great privileges and solid appearances fee bonuses when playing for Nigeria. If I follow their stories, they were rich in every country's context. Playing for Nigeria also vastly increased their chances of playing for tier A or B clubs and getting better deals. Blaming Nigeria for your poor decisions is a bad way to raise the next generation. So I get that. So I think we've all answered that question. However, because of that moment and that history they have with us, the heroism, the heroic thing they carried out years ago, shouldn't they deserve a more significant exit, burial, funeral, celebration, not just for federal government, but even Nigerians at large? Because it's easy to point fingers. But we as the people too should be able to have celebrated, even though if nobody else. Peter Rufai, he was the keeper. Let me
There's
go.
none of them.
Let me pause you for a second. I'm sorry, there's a caller waiting.
Okay.
Olayinka, thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to call in because this is my first time of calling you.
Welcome
Calling
to the
from
show.
Abuja. All right, no problem. What's important is that when you compare the footballers with the soldiers or civil servants, there's a difference from that. You understand? The civil servants pay a fraction of their salary every month into an account that will be used for them after retirement. They're just so bad that if these footballers who are earning big amount of euro, a fraction of that amount per month should be paid into an account with NFA. So that you be care for them when they retire or whatever it is, when they have the problem, they can come back to that. But then the whole money they will get those finance for 100%. It's not done. A fraction of what they get in euro should be paid, whether 5% or 3%, into the account in NFA, to be domiciled in NFA. So that by the time they retire, they can't play again. They can fall back on that. But the idea of just squatting the whole money they get when they are paying and come and return and say government should be paying them again. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Honestly,
Thank you very much, Olayinka.
Thank you, Olayinka, because I said that the NFF, most of the people who get paid well from the NFF funds are not even players. They're just NFF. You see the wahala they put themselves into to become president and all of that to get to represent us in the world stage at FIFA. The NFF knew that this particular set of Peter Rufai were not as educated as the footballers we have today. And even amongst the footballers that we have today, there are people who were not educated, but who are not still educated, but God's grace, and they are playing abroad. How much sensitization goes into what a mutual fund is for them when they are in their peak? How much of it? NFF is constantly at the problem of sometimes the footballers don't even get picked. We are sorting out one problem of them being stuck in one airport. A whole country's football team thought okay to demoralize them, drop them at a different airport and force them to travel. A country that does not even have a clear government, it was not Libya. And force them to travel by road to airport just to demoralize them. Those kind of things, that's the business of the NFF. I agree with Momodua that they were they had money, they were rich in their own class at the time. But there are a lot of them a lot of footballers who were their set mates, who didn't even make it to national team, who are still struggling, which is why we must call the NFF for lack of institution, and the federal government for not having proper plans of what an institution should be around these footballers. We cannot say because Taribo West in his class now, I think he's a pastor and he has a church, he's not necessarily poor. But if you go to the burial of your mate and you cannot see an NFF proper state kind of burial, NFF can design a burial fit for footballers just the way the federal government did for Buhari. What is the role of the NFF now beyond clapping hands and doing all this thing? And I'm failing every time at organizing these footballers entitlements at every time, every point.
So I hear you, and what Ojeje Omojo, let me just finish up what he said, because there's a part of the flip side where he said that people must learn to take responsibility for their mistakes, and this is where I somewhat agree, because he says that every time we say government must do this, government must do that, will not always apply. Nigeria has woken up to understanding that it can't do everything, that government can't do everything.
Yeah.
If you sleep on that, you will suffer. Nigeria's got its own blames. Half of it, government pretending to be God. It is easily the fall guy, that government is easily fall guy for every failing we see. Shouldn't blind everyone to their responsibilities, which is what I'm saying, and I agree with you that NFL has a role to play, but we as a people too have a role to play.
Yeah.
Even while they are alive, do we even celebrate them? Do we even remember them? Whoever even thought of a Peter Rufai?
If you want to talk about what
do you remember?
No, people.
See, because when we watch, sorry, Miriam. When we watch abroad sportsmen, we see their what they call biopics. Now people write the movie, people create the heroes for their young ones to see in their own people's story, not one abroad story. But half of the movies we watch of heroes here are biopics of people abroad, especially Americans. Whereas we have these footballers who were top of their careers at the time. So can somebody put a movie together about them? That's what people will do. But a lot of things still fall back on government, where the national wealth is. A lot of things still fall back on the NFF.
I'll take a call. Let me take Jide. Come to you, Mariam. Jide from Agodo. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Good morning. You're live. Hello, Jide. Go ahead, Mariam.
Yeah. So, every time when we say government, immediately just think about the president. That's what we think. And NFF is government. Yeah. It's an institution of government, but it has a role that it should play. And I just like that you listed what exactly is the NFF supposed to be doing. The only time we truly hear of the NFF when it comes to football,
not to travel.
When it comes to the footballers traveling out for a tournament, or we're hearing about their inefficiencies. So they were not fully prepared for the matches. They did not get to their matches on time. The hotels, hotels issue. That's the only time that we hear of NFF, and it's true. And I think this is the point to call them out. When we say government in this case, government is NFF in this case. So really, what do you do for them while they are alive, while they are earning? It makes no sense, honestly, that there's no room for these young footballers to be taught how to manage their finances. And as you said, Nyma, like for us as individuals, the movie industry, the storytelling industry, whatever it is, if we tell these stories of their heroics and their mistakes, many people will learn from it. A lot of people are learning from basketballers and other athletes and entertainers because stories of how they got to the peak of their careers, either how they squandered their resources or how they maintained their resources, is a lesson for the next generation. The NFF needs to understand that it is not created for just the money that's coming now. The government's about to release some money. That's all it's about. It has to think about how to sustain this and sustain the players. Why is it that we don't have, I'm not sure, why don't we have globally recognized Nigerian clubs? Why don't we have that? When we have our players playing across the world,
that's a different conversation.
It's all a part of it. Why are we not grooming young footballers in Nigeria, making sure that these clubs and platforms are making money for this while they are here? The local teams are making enough money to take care of footballers. We hear that how the international clubs, how they make their money? They have a stadium. In fact, Nigerian entertainers are investing in these clubs. They make this stadium earn money through the events and all other things that happen in them, and they're able to maintain the stadium and make money for the players. I don't understand why you are part of that industry and you are not able to replicate or implement it here in your country.
Let me take this call from Taiwo. Thanks for calling, Taiwo. You're live. Hello, Taiwo. Go ahead, Amit.
Hello,
yes, okay, go ahead.
Well, I really appreciate your topic. Ajia said that there's politics in the football. In the three aspects of what you are saying, I think I cannot say there's one that you can take as priority. Because in the football, the way they do in the football, the politics there is that they take the person not from the sport. Because if you are looking at the election of the football, they always take somebody from the ministry or any other place. Those people that don't play. In the time of Kojo Williams, you know, when they took Kojo Williams, that is when the football was okay. They took Kojo Williams, and it gave them 7 good years to build all the teams to build their stadium. So, and do whatever you want. Instead of we was watching all these teams in abroad, we should have been in our country be watching our own football. They trying to do politics and remove the man. And now look at the look at the what is happening with the Rufai and others. Okay. In abroad, they have something that whatever they play, all those ones, their retirement, it goes to somewhere. It's not the ministry or any other thing. They prioritize it.
Okay.
You cannot see any footballer now that's using anything.
Thank you very much. So let me go on a very short way. I'll come to Roma to stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the way in which our heroes, especially our football heroes, should be buried. And you're going to add a few things also.
Yes, I wanted to say that don't we depend too much on the government. Sometimes we, the community, we should also come out and do something once in a while, all with our people. And they themselves, they didn't give back. I remember them very well. They made lots of money. They themselves, they have helped Nigerians to forget about them.
We're not aware what they did. Their own small community, they could have given back.
Yeah. So if they really did, we'll have been seeing them, we'll have been hearing a lot about them. Because it's when something happens, that's when we'll start talking and start calling out the government. Government should have done this. The load, I think there's so much on the government that the government themselves, they are even overwhelmed. And we, because of the expectations on them, the expectations is too much on them, and they are not even meeting up. So we keep calling them, and we know that they are not going to do they are not going to do what we want them to do. So what we, the people, community, what can we do? We should step in.
So I hear you.
We should step in. We're all responsible.
Government has a role, which is what you have said clearly. The system of NFF should be structured such that this kind of thing shouldn't happen. Yeah, that's the area of government. However, the people to have a role to play. Community, because maybe they are giving back in their own small, because for example Taribo Waste or Peter Rufai in his own village, maybe he has built schools, but we don't know what he has done in his own small circle. But we as the people, do we even celebrate them? Because it's always easy to point fingers. I say it's always easy to point fingers at government with the people, because even you see we talk about the Senate climbs or the foreign income, when they see their soldiers, they greet and they respect them. Do you see a soldier and greet and respect him? Many of them just look the way I we just pretend as if we pretend as if they're not there. Many Nigerians, so it's easy to say government is not doing it, but are we as a people doing? Oh, Taribo lives there. What do we do to celebrate him? Do we call him for events? Do we remind them about remember them? It was until recently.
We might not call them.
Let me make an point. It was until recently. I think it was either Muabudo, one of these other producers, that started calling back our old actors and brought them to the limelight. Many producers have moved on. They didn't care about them. They were just focusing on the new actors. They didn't really care about them. But after some years back, some producers realized that we have some gems in this movie. Let us bring them back to the fore. And we started seeing this woman, the woman that shouts in the movies. So many of them started coming out. So the point is that the people too must remember them.
So I agree with you. The people must remember them, but the people, just as you said, that them just agree small, because I don't agree entirely. Is that the people have lost the right to speak around these people. Where we patronize is the foreign leagues, European League, La Liga, everything that we did not look at the videos documenting the history of how these people supported their football to where it is today. We will just wake up one morning and we bet over there on their football. You will see our young men arguing on the street, knowing more about their football. Even my son, small children, they were saying it's Ronaldo and Messi that was the best. And I was, Mommy, which football club do you say? Do you not know of Enyimba? You don't know of Bend Insurance? They were lost to it. We did not groom our own local. Our local cannot meet. We deliberately killed it to where it is today because we don't patronize it. If they put money to it, we will not. When Glow,
that's what Ramatu is saying, that the people
was supporting the local football clubs, and we're all saying to go, is stored somewhere. Because when it became somebody had taken the initiative to start. When it became the part of supporters club and people building a trend around it, where were Nigerians?
No,
we were looking. We did not show up. So we did not and so a Nigerian footballer whose destiny, let me put it that way, I've not written in the universe. I've not written that he will end up in Europe. It means that he can never make it. He can never make it.
Yes. So community level. So for me, it's not that we don't see their contributions at community level. We have seen a few of our local talents that have gone abroad. They come back. They try to do what they can. But the thing is, what we're discussing here is wealth creation. What they're doing, is it big enough to be sustained and, you know, become at par with what we're doing internationally? That's what we're talking about. Plateau United, Kano Pillars, all those are local teams. And I have to be honest, at the grassroots level, we have, at least in the north, we have people that support it. They understand what is happening, but they've never really gotten the funding, you know, that they need. Is it just funding? Just really, not just funding. It's even just the creativity, you know, just the attention to build on what we already have. And we've seen it. It looks like it has, you know, withered away. But if we as the people, we have a culture of, you know, what is new, what is latest. So we move on immediately, and it cuts across everything that we do in this country. So yes, I think it's important that we start to re-engineer our mindset. We need to start thinking again that sometimes we need to make time for these people, remember them, make them part of our curriculum, talk about them. Let's see them on our TV still. Let them be involved in national conversations, you know, let them bring in their ideas. It's not that once they are done, they are signed off and then we forget them. So yes, as a people, we need to get off that culture of it's only when something is new and shiny that we're on it.
Let me take this call from London. Adewale, thanks for calling. You live.
Hello, thank you very much.
Yes.
I just want to mention something quickly, that our government needs to honor our sportsmen. When George Best died in London, he was honored. So the government should at least honor our sportsmen, honor the entertainers as well. The only honor Baba Salah got was from General Obasanjo, when Obasanjo was a general and gave him the MON. But at least we should learn to honor our sportsmen and entertainers, even when they pass away. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to give you comments and wrap up on this. Any comments on social media as we wrap up?
We have someone on YouTube. Mrs. says, I honestly don't know how Moriah wants ordinary people. Sorry, just loaded up. I don't know how Moriah wants ordinary people to celebrate players apart from going to watch their matches. Okay, well, that was Ramatu's point anyway. But yes, watching their matches is how you support them. Patronizing them and you know, betting on their skills is what you do. D-Dub says, what is the meaning of we the people? What is the people supposed to do for wealthy ex-footballers? You see, Nigerians? Okay, so these ex-footballers who, we're talking about their financial literacy earlier, about mutual benefits and all of that. If once in a while when they are in training and in a gathering, NFF did not think it was wrong for maybe mutual benefit assurance companies, Meristem and all of those companies to come in and do a little sensitization. One of them, something can take a light bulb on somebody's head and think, oh yes, I've been putting this money together. Because the Nigerian way of saving is that when I land abroad, I send money to my sister or my mother to build a house for me. The house of the size that I can presently live in, not the one I can retire into. Most of us don't build houses we retire into. When we build the present living status house, when we retire, we don't need that large house. We are now looking up and down again, want to sell it, might be a distress sale. A lot of things are not tidy. You need people who know the entire whole of it to come and sensitize people. And even the people that are criticizing these footballers don't know. A lot of us don't know. We don't plan like this. And so these kind of things, you cannot blame them. Financial literacy is not something that you wake up and have. It's something you acquire. You must learn it.
Okay, so we have to wrap up on this, but I think pretty much in a nutshell, everybody has some kind of blame on this. NFL definitely has a blame. the people, the players themselves to have a blame by not getting enough financial literacy to be able to save up themselves, and also the Nigerian people who have enjoyed the heroism of these people also have a role to play, aside from just going to watch their matches, but also to remember them, even the professionals, the movie makers, the school owners, the universities, inviting them to come and speak. You know, these are ways you remember those who have served your nation, bringing them back to the present, let people know who they are, for what they've done, because it's part of our responsibility to keep the flame alive on what they've done. So I think everybody has a blame to take, and I think we should learn from this for the next steps. Now, moving on to our next topic, because tomorrow we know that the NDLA plans a press briefing tomorrow at 11 o'clock to give us exactly what they want to do, what they plan to advise, how they plan to advise Nigeria, because Femi Babafemi, who is the spokesperson of the NDLA, had put out an interesting tweet, because he was trying to advise Nigerians on what to check out for before traveling. Many of us have traveled, and especially this summer holidays, a lot of Nigerians have traveled. So imagine boarding the flight only to discover you've been set up by a drug mule without even knowing it. Now, it's not just a movie plot, it's actually happening on suspecting Nigerians every single day. Just yesterday, NDLA spokesman Femi Babafemi revealed some of the clever tactics drug cartels use to implicate innocent passengers. He's also highlighted preventive steps from what you must do when checking in your luggage at the counter. As I said, there's going to be a press briefing tomorrow to further explain to Nigerians exactly what to do, especially when you're traveling. But in the meantime, we'll start the conversation, because many of us have traveled and many of us are traveling every single day. And we see, I have been very careless, I must say. Whenever I travel, I just use the combination that goes with the suitcase. I don't buy the padlock. I've been very, that's very wrong. Because when I saw his tweet yesterday, I just reminded myself that, Mariel, be careful. Because I only use the 000 combination everybody knows. And I scramble it and I think, it's just one flight now. But he's saying now that we're better off making sure that we check and we ensure that the suitcase goes through the conveyor belt first. And then when we are boarding, especially those of us in local flights, check to be sure that it's the same tag you have, that your suitcase is being loaded into the plane. Those are ways to ensure that nobody has actually tampered with your luggage. What are your thoughts on this? Because as I said, we're going to discuss it further. But let's go on a short break. When we come back, we just touch on this a bit. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.